Well, greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome back once again for the very first time to the Farts and Crep Show, where today, as per usual, it's your host Danjo here with part 1 of Sekiro, the complete series, and the reason for the name is because this series is going to entail pretty much everything. So there are going to be multiple playthroughs on this series. And real quick, before we get started, this is not my first time with the game, and I've also deleted some files. So I'm very familiar with it, and however, it has been a while. This was going to be part 4. There were 3 episodes that were already done and went out. And there were some problems. I was mostly happy with them, but there were graphical problems. Which didn't actually look bad necessarily on my end before I uploaded them, but I've been doing a lot of research into why stuff happened. Anyway, the quality should be better now. I do apologize about the wait and the lack of quality control on those original 3 episodes, but we should be good to go now. So let's go ahead and get started. These first few episodes are going to be a little short. We'll go a little bit long for the first one, just because there's a lot of stuff I want to go over. And I would like to get to a certain point in the game, and I'm kind of going to do an overview of the game as well in this episode, for those of you who are less familiar with it. And yes, at least for the first run, I'm not going to be doing commentary over cutscenes or anything like that, because this game, or dialogue, because this game has a beautiful story, and I'm also going to be playing it in English. I know some people prefer play in Japanese with the subtitles, which thankfully you can do. But I think the English voice cast did a very good job, and personally there's a lot of points in the game where I can't be focusing on the subtitles, since I'm going to be focusing on the gameplay. But yeah, we're going to be starting from scratch. So let's go ahead and get the show on the road.
In the closing years of the Sengoku era, Japan was consumed by perpetual conflict. The fires of war raged on, spreading deep into the mountains, to the land of Ashina.
Is the war finally over?
swordsman Ishin Ashina staged a bloody coup and wrested control of the land.
What's the matter, Stray? Nothing left to lose? Well, would you look at that? Fascinating. Will you join me, starving wolf?
On that day, a young cub was taken from the battlefield. He trained relentlessly, and indeed, went on to become a master shinobi.
Listen, Wolf. You must never forget the shinobi code. As your father, my word is absolute. Your master's is a close second. As of today, he is your master. Defend him with your life. If he is taken, bring him back at any cost. You understand me, don't you, Wolf?
Some 20 years after Ishin's coup, the Ashina clan was on the brink of collapse. And the shinobi, known as Wolf, had lost everything. Both the man who took him in and the boy he had sworn to protect.
Shinobi, open your eyes. For the sake of your master.
All right. Okay. Now we automatically obtained Kuro's charm. There is a reason for that. That is because I have other files that are on New Game Plus cycles. So ordinarily, if this is your first playthrough, you wouldn't start with that. And that is what I meant earlier by charmless. Ornamental letter. A letter thrown into a well. Kuro's wolf. Your destiny awaits you at the Moonview Tower. Escape from the well and find the tower bathed in moonlight. Even without a blade, you can reach it. Stay silent. Stay vigilant. Oh. Yes, I know about the menus, right. But as an overview, we don't have access to any of these, but we do have quick items. The only one we have is the Homeward Idol. Essentially, if you're familiar with the Dark Souls games, this is a Homeward Bone, but it's reusable. So, just, yeah, as much as you want, you can either go back to the last what do they call them? Sculptor's Idol or the Dilapidated Temple. That's kind of your home base in this game. So we have our quick items. You can use them here from the inventory. Or your key items as well. And that's kind of a spoiler. We're not going to go over that. And let's see, I do have toggle lock on, non-auto target, vibration is off. Standard, slower is better. I do like to have HUD on auto hide all, just because otherwise it's I just prefer this option in games. It's just really cool. Of course, we're going to be doing SDR. Brightness at 7 is usually good, and this is the mix I'm using, 859. And config, there are a few things I would even, this is like preference, but I even recommend doing this, is put step dodge and hold to sprint on circle, jump on triangle. The reason, I believe, by default, I think jump is X. And actioning collect loot, I believe, is usually triangle. The reason for this change is so essentially you have a thumb roll for sprint and jump, because sprint jump is kind of treated like its own separate action in this game. So jumping has its own iframe rules, basically, and sprint jumping is similar, but functionally a little bit different for iframe rules. And it's very, very helpful for avoiding certain things. Because yes, as a lot of people know about this game, parry is a very, or deflect is a very incentivized thing in this game. It's very prevalent. However, it's not the only way to avoid damage. The benefit, kind of how this game is balanced, for like spacing and stuff, like this fighting game enthusiasts will recognize the term like footsies. Wolf is very fast. He's pretty much exactly as fast as the fastest enemies in the game. So dodging, sprinting, and sprint jumping is very viable. Like, essentially you can beat the game without even parrying. There are a few attacks where you are going to want to parry. They're very few and far between. And even then you don't have to. So, there's also a thing later in the game. I guess it's not in the controls. There's another ability that you get that's also very, very helpful for, and yeah, basically network. This is the last one. I'm just playing offline because I prefer it. Because otherwise, there are some online things in this game. Yeah, the remnants. It kind of just muddies the world. Like, you see extra crap all over the place. Honestly, it. And yes, there's an item up there. We can get there later, but not right now. It kind of takes me out of it a little bit. Like, the sense of immersion is definitely affected, in my opinion. So this is the beginning of the tutorial, which is genius, by the way. They use this area, which is not just a tutorial area. Like, you come back here later, or you can, actually, you don't have to. yeah, they use this area like brilliantly. So triangle in air near wall is a wall jump. Wall jump is fine. I like to I usually refer to it as like wall kick. Like if you hit the opposite direction, like you can essentially like I guess it's only for back. You can essentially like triangle jump, basically. And there are certain surfaces where you can repeatedly like wall kick upwards to scale certain things. It's a function that is clearly defined. Like, it's only on specific surfaces. But yeah, so there's that exit. There's also a crack in the... Or is that later? No, there should be an opening. Oh, it's over here. Yeah, so in that cutscene where we saw the umbrella lady drop the letter, that was like right here. And this opening is also like gonna come into play later. But, and yeah, to those of you who are curious, I am once again using my newer controller. I decided to kind of bust this out. New controller, new series kind of a thing. And it's my 8BitDo Pro 2 Xbox edition. I don't even have an Xbox, but the controller adapter I'm using to play this on PS5 is, which, yeah, got the PS2 theme going right now, is the Brook Wingman XE2. And initially it was kind of geared towards being like an Xbox adapter for PlayStation, so you could use Xbox controllers. I was like, oh, this is an officially licensed Xbox controller. It should definitely work, and there are some slight build differences on this version of the Pro 2 compared to the other versions, or the standard versions, like the Bluetooth and the wired versions. Most notably, try to do this in front of the microphone without micro switches on the L1 and R1. And it's also got like the back paddles, which are programmable, which also have micro switches, which is very nice. So I don't have to do the stick clicks for like anything. And it's just a very tactile feel. But basically your actions are temporarily locked until like they introduce each mechanic. So typically in this game, like if you see like yellow markings, it's kind of like Horizon Zero Dawn or Forbidden West or like the Uncharted games. It's indicating it's traversable, basically. So you can sidle, I think is what it's called. The wall here, you may notice that is also yellow on the ledge over there, which means you can ledge hang. Now, rooftops are not always marked in the same way, but a lot of, I think every piece of terrain that has like that highlight on the corner means you can ledge hang on it, basically. But yeah, they kind of make it more visible during the tutorial here. But it's never one of those things, I think, impedes. Oh, do they not start talking until I... Oh, there we go, stealth. Advance without being seen by crouching in bushes or moving under floors. You do not have a sword at the moment. Use stealth to avoid enemies and head to the Moonview Tower. If you're about to be seen, warning markers appear over enemies' heads. Yeah, so a lot of people just play this like an action game, like any other Souls game. But it's kind of genius in its design because most situations can be approached in a stealth like mindset. And the game is definitely like balanced with both approaches in mind, which is incredible.
That shinobi at the bottom of the well. We didn't shackle him, restrain him, nothing. That doesn't worry anybody?
Not at all. Not only is he unarmed, he has completely lost his will to live. Nothing but a coward. Unworthy of our concern.
Oh, you're gonna be concerned.
The moonlight shines strongly on the Moonview Tower tonight. The Divine Heir is probably using the light for his reading again.
Probably, but imprisoning a mere child. I feel sorry for the boy.
Agreed. But I'm sure Lord Genichiro has his reasons.
Yeah, the reason is he's a dick. So you may notice, like, the vignette around, like, the corners of the screen. It's kind of cool because it's, like, a visual representation of, like, your level of stealth, essentially. So this means we're basically completely hidden from view when there's a more, like, prominent vignette. If I were to exit this tall grass, however, yeah, it's like lesser and then more and lesser, more. So kind of cool. It's they give you a very easy to use indication of how stealthy you're being.
The Moonview Tower door. You checked that it's locked, right?
It's certainly locked, but nobody fixed that hole in the wall.
That? Don't worry about it. The whole face is the edge of a cliff. No one could pass through it.
So you think. Alright. So yeah, these edges are also like got the yellow stuff, so and then you can shimmy with the left stick, which, yeah, because left stick is also move, obviously. Can we sprint? Can't sprint yet. Okay. So a jump to a ledge hang, yeah. So if you see a ledge like that, you can just like and grab it midair, which is very, very helpful because essentially any time you're airborne, you can do that. So even after like a wall kick, you know, or if it's like a little bit too high up, you can just like, you know, it's kind of cool because like if you hit the ledge grab button essentially early, as long as like it's under you or like slightly above you, it kind of like snaps a little bit. It's pretty tight. And the other thing I wanted to point out, kind of talk about real quick, is a lot of people get kind of intimidated by this game because of its like reputation for being like super hard. It's not that hard, honestly. Like once you learn the game mechanics, pretty much anybody can beat this game. Like regardless of level of experience. They like that's kind of all you gotta do is just like pay attention, like learn the mechanics the game teaches you, and then practice, you know? Like it's not It's not nearly as hard as people make it out to be real.
You did well to come here. It's been too long, Wolf.
I've come to free you, my lord.
Well then. Raise your head. Kusabimaru, your sword. My shinobi. In accordance with the bond of Lord and Retainer, you will pledge your life in my service.
As you command.
Kusabimaru, a katana given by Kuro, the divine heir, an heirloom of the Hirata family, a cadet branch descended from Ashina. Once thought lost, it has found its way back in the hands of the wolf, into the hands of the wolf. The name Kusabimaru beseeches. A shinobi's role is to kill, but even a shinobi must not forget mercy, a mantra the blade itself may manifest. Okay, so...
Wolf, I do have one more thing to give you. Take it.
Yeah, you actually can't leave until you talk to him. And there's one other thing I wanted to grab. So pellets, these are optional, but a very common and pretty important item, honestly. Medicinal pellets that slowly restore vitality. A secret treatment passed down for generations in these lands. Records say it has been used in battles since times long gone, and lent to the famed resilience of Ashina warriors. A pill case full of these pellets would also serve as a battle charm. Yeah, so essentially, it restores a little bit of your health, like slowly, and at maximum you can have 3 on you at once, so you can't really like rely on it, but essentially if your usual healing runs out, it's a nice little backup. And actually I do need to get going in about 10 minutes. So let's go ahead and...
It is a special gourd of medicinal waters. Use it to heal your wounds.
Alright. So this is basically your Estus flask in the game. It's the same thing, basically. You can upgrade it over time. It starts with like 1 drink. And yeah, it's your primary form of healing, essentially. Healing Gourd. A gourd filled with vitality-restoring medicine. Resting refills the gourd. Made by an apprentice of the extraordinary Dr. Dogen. Though it is strange that the gourd's medicinal waters refill automatically, the seeds within may hold the secret to how it works.
My lord.
Now then, were you gravely injured? Afterward?
After what?
Do you not remember that night?
I do not.
No. We'll talk about it later. Right now, we must escape Ashina Castle.
As you say.
There's a secret passage beneath the moat bridge that will take us out of the castle. Lord Ishin told me about it once. I ask you to find that secret passage. Once you find it, signal me with a reed whistle. You know, like you used to long ago. I will join you as soon as I hear it. Wolf, do you have something for me?
Okay. So this is the hard mode thing I mentioned before, the Crow's Charm. And I'm going to be doing all these runs charmless, which means essentially giving Kuro the charm back. It basically makes enemies tankier, they have more posture, and vitality, I think. And it's hard mode, basically, but it's not without reward. Like, there is a risk reward thing to it. Like, I think you receive like 20% more cash and experience. So, and it's not all that different. Like, honestly, if you play with the charm, I think the main difference is when you block, if you have the charm, blocking negates damage completely, but it does damage your posture gauge. If you're doing charmless blocking, you still take chip damage, and it increases your posture gauge. So, and there's a little bit to the deflect, like the parry, basically. So there is a sloppy parry, which, if you are doing charmless, you'll still take chip damage, but if you do a perfect parry, like perfectly timed, then you won't take damage. So mechanically, those are kind of like the main differences, which is kind of why I was saying, like, well, the charmless thing, there are other ways of avoiding damage. And yeah, so just sometimes it's a little bit safer just to not even try for the parry, but go for a dodge, or just, completely avoid the attack. So.
This is for you, my lord.
It's from that time. So you noticed then. I see.
I'd like to ask that you keep this for me, my lord.
But this charm has protected you all this time. It's held your suffering at bay. I do not wish for you to suffer any more than you already have. That is why I ask you to keep it in your possession.
Suffering is what I desire, so please, allow me to return it to you.
I understand. Thank you. The path before you will now be fraught with more hardships than ever before. But knowing you, you'll overcome them. I believe in you, brave wolf.
You've chosen the path of further hardships. That we have. Alright, using quick items, right. And we also have, like, almost no health right now. So just go ahead and put that there, and put that there, and just, there we go. Just drink that right now. Alright. Okay, so posture and death blows. The shinobi aims to break an opponent's posture, or their stance, or their guard, whatever. Attacking an enemy is one way to achieve this. When an enemy's posture breaks, it is vulnerable to a shinobi death blow. So yeah, whenever you see the red dot, like, if you're in range and you press R1, like, yeah, it'll just do the death blow. Which, for most enemies, that's the end. They're just dead. There are enemies that require multiple death blows, and that's usually reserved for bosses and, like, field bosses and such. But it's honestly not a huge deal. Because, yeah, like stealth, just instant death blow. And, yeah, for a lot of the times, like, attack an enemy before they attack you, it's a death blow. And those guys don't really, you don't have to parry them. Like, it's not even really encouraged. The first guy that you are going to want to do that for is this dude. So, deflection. Sometimes relentless attack is not enough to break an enemy's posture. Deflecting enemy attacks is another way to damage their posture. A master shinobi uses a combination of deflect and attacks to achieve a swift victory. So, yeah, L1 the moment an attack lands is deflect. It's not required, again, but it does make certain things easier. Like, for certain enemies, they put, like, all their weight into certain attacks. Like, he was just going for the strong overhead. And, yeah. Had he missed, he would have also had some, like, cooldown recovery time. Or had I done a step dodge, like, around him or to the side or something. But the thing about stealth is because essentially you're getting an instant death blow without them even knowing that you're around. Yeah, locking onto targets, right? It's a very viable strategy, obviously, for like if you're wandering around and you have like no heals and like not a lot of health and you're not sure where the next checkpoint is. So and yes, enemies have drops, just not yet. He was talking to somebody. Who the fuck was that? Oh, that's as far as we can go. Alright. And yeah, the game also has multiple systems to its stealth. Essentially, like, the amount of noise you make is very important if you're trying to remain unseen, and certain enemies have... Actually, you know what? I might be able to make it to that from here. Various enemies have different awareness, basically. So, like, some enemies have better vision than hearing, and some have better hearing than vision, that sort of thing. Yeah, so I just skipped that gate. There's like 4 guys over there. However, I could have stuck to the rooftops because this game also employs the 45-degree angle, like invisibility shinobi rule, essentially. Essentially anything above 45 degrees from somebody's line of sight is effectively invisible because most people aren't looking up most of the time. But we do have... Can I just skip to over there? I actually don't remember. Oh, that guy is starting to see me. Crap, he's gonna come over here and see me. I mean, probably. Now, one way I could probably avoid this is... nope. Yeah, so when their arrows are yellow, essentially it means they are alerted, but they're like unsure. Like they're, whoops, jumped a little too high. But yeah, if you stay hidden long enough, enemies will forget about you and the music will switch back to the typical music. Now those two guys are not even close to on edge. But yeah, there's the first field boss is actually up here, up the stairs. And because we're not getting experience or loot yet, I don't think we're getting experience. No, we're not getting experience. Yeah, you also just get a pellet for beating him. Like, you really don't have to. So for this part of the game, like, until you get past the point of, like, the exit that Kuro was talking about, it doesn't really matter how well or poorly you do. Like, it really doesn't matter. So if you want, it's you could just run straight for the place you're supposed to go to.
You know that secret passage at the bottom of the moat, under the bridge? We just got orders to guard it.
Security's getting tight. War will be upon us very soon.
Yeah, most eavesdropping opportunities, like, you are going to want to take advantage of those. I can't see any items over there. Couldn't remember, but I was pretty sure there weren't. You can access that area over there. And, like, later in the game there's stuff over there, but not right now. Okay. And this is the place that we were supposed to get to, so this appears to be the escape route, called the Divine Air with the reed whistle. No, because as I mentioned, I do need to get going. Shoo, we'll do this next time and pick it up from here. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and because if we go any further, like, we're gonna have to keep going for like another 10 or 15 minutes because there's like a series of things that happen. But yeah, we'll do that in the next episode. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I do very much hope this one turned out, because honestly, I did so much work on the computer today, like trying to figure out what was wrong before and like correcting it and everything. So yeah, if this doesn't work, there's like 1 or 2 things I could change, try to see if it's a little bit better. But almost out of ideas. Like, I've been doing recordings on this machine for years, so know it quite well, and like I've known for quite a while that I was like, there are certain games and stuff that are very pretty graphically, and like my PS5 can do stuff that my PC just can't keep up with. And like I could be recording in 4K 60 HDR, but yeah, most people wouldn't care. And then if I did that, then the audio would sound like crap. So yeah, I was like, you know what, 1080 60, if we can get this looking smooth and crisp and good, totally happy with 1080 60 SDR. Like, especially like for YouTube, like that's kinda the mark, you know? Beyond that, a lot less people care. But some people do. Not saying, and it depends on like the goal of like the test, and like there are some like 8K tests on YouTube and stuff that people use for certain things, but you know, and I've used some of the 4K 60 HDR tests on YouTube as well for certain things, but for general consumption use, nah, I don't care beyond 1080 60. Like, anyway, but yes, I do have to get going, so thank you all for being here, guys. Greatly appreciate it. I will try to keep this short, but it is time for the outro. Once again, a very special thank you going out to the current Farts and Crap Show members, the amazing people who help make it possible. Vals Draconis and Aaron Schick, thank you so much for choosing to support the show a bit more directly via channel membership. It vastly helps out. Very much appreciate it. And if you guys want to be incredibly awesome like these amazing people and get in on all those membership benefits, check out that join button down below. There's also a link in the description that talks about becoming a channel member in case there's no join button for you. I've heard that happen sometimes. Membership tiers start at $3 a month. It's only 10 cents a day. Gets you into all the basic stuff, including getting to vote on the series that get made here on the channel via the Members' Choice polls. It's a thing we do once a month for a full 7 days, so 25% of the time we do have one going. And we do have one. The one for December is coming up at some point. I don't know, this having to re-record and re-release these episodes kind of messed up the schedule a little bit, so it's going to be in the back half of the month for sure. I'm not sure when, but I'll let you guys know in a future announcement, which this is an approximation of future announcements from the past. So if you guys want all the announcements as they happen and the bell doesn't work for you, totally get it. The bell doesn't work for me either, but there's 4 other ways you guys can stay up to date. There's the community tab here on the channel, the Farts and Crap Show Twitter, the Bluesky, or the Discord. I always post on all 4 whenever there's an announcement, so regardless of which one of those works for you, you can stay up to date. And links for those are down in the description and also on the channel banner. And actually, one more thing I forgot to mention. If you're a new channel member, most of the previous Members' Choice polls are still up over on the membership tab. They stay open until you vote on them, so even if you're just a member for 1 month, you can vote on as many of the previous ones as you'd like, thereby still influencing the content that gets made here for quite a while, because retroactive input is considered for future polls. So, but yeah, it's gonna do it for now. So, thank you all once again for being here, guys. Till next time, take care, and I hope you all have a splendiferous day.